I often hear conversations about accelerationism, and that refers to allowing the problem to get bad, allowing it to get bad faster and faster, so that it finally snaps people to attention and so that they can be told, hey, something bad is happening. So there are a lot of people I'm seeing actually celebrating this story. Trans runner beat 14,000 women in London Marathon after running New York City as a man. And the individual said that they won with girl power. And this has been so shockingly offensive to so many women, they're starting to pay attention. I don't know if I agree with any of that accelerationism stuff. I just think problems are bad. We should stop having problems. We should work towards solutions. And I'm not a big fan of necessarily saying, like, make it all get worse faster. But I will admit, stories like this absolutely push the news to the forefront. Stories like the Anheuser-Busch boycott absolutely make people pay attention to what's going on in the world. Here's a story from the New York Post. They report a two-time Olympian has ripped rules that allowed a transgender runner to beat nearly 14,000 women in the female category of the London Marathon. Mara Yamauchi, it's probably pronounced Yamauchi, who finished sixth in the marathon in the 2008 Beijing Olympics, lashed out after trans racer Glenique Frank, 54 years old, gushed to the BBC about using girl power to run the key UK race on Sunday. Quote, "Males in the female category is unfair for females," Yamauchi tweeted alongside a clip of the mid-race interview by the sports bra-wearing runner, who also gushed about soon becoming a gran. I just really need to point this out. Not only did this person defeat 14,000 women, they're 54 years old. Yo, I'm pretty sure that like male peak physical performance is between the age of like 19 and 24 years old. And then after that, you have a sharpening of skills, but a decline in physical prowess. So reaction time starts to decrease, muscle endurance starts to decrease, but you can maintain these things well into an older age. Just to put it simply, top pros in a lot of sports tend to be in their early 20s, but sure, whatever. Nearly 14,000 actual females suffered a worse finish position because of Frank, wrote Yamauchi, who said that even when she was ranked second in the world as a woman, at least 1,300 men ran faster than me. She noted how UK athletics applied world athletics rules on the exclusion of transgender women from elite female competitions at the end of March to make it fair for athletes who have gone through male puberty to be excluded from the female category in athletics. However, it allowed those who had already entered races to still compete in categories that were not their biological sex. This male competed under UK athletics transitional arrangements, but it is still wrong and unfair, Yamauchi told Telegraph Sport. So here's the male who said girl power allowed him, whoever, to win. Kathy Devine, a former lecturer in sport and physical activity at the University of Cumbria, also accused the London Marathon of being enabling. Zero categories that exclude male performance advantage. Goddess forbid that female runners should have their own category celebrating that what women runners can do. Frank told the Post Tuesday that she's competed in the male category in previous marathons, including New York in November, because she was forced to enter under the name and gender that's listed on her passport. Even so, she ran around the Big Apple in a bright red bra and wore a long pink wig as a city tourist. Okay. For the London Marathon, however, the same passport rules did not apply because Frank is UK-based and a British citizen. I ticked female because I see myself as female. Well, that's a lie. You are not female. You are male. You can identify however you want. It doesn't change what you really are. Said Frank, who came out 3 years ago as Glenique, a mix of Glenn and Unique, but has known since I was 5 I was in the wrong body. Frank said it was traumatic to be publicly attacked while trying to spread joy and happiness with the rainbow love at the race. Still, I get it. Frank, a personal trainer, said of the criticism, I feel sad that I've upset Mara because I respect her. Okay. Frank, when is it Yamauchi? I'm assuming that if it's Yamauchi, if she's like European, but Yamauchi if she's Asian. I mean, different pronunciation. Frank went viral after stopping to tell the BBC of her joy at running her 17th marathon. Girl power, Frank said, while flexing her bulging biceps above rainbow-colored armbands. It's like the episode of South Park. Please. Look, man, if the left would just stop being so insane, we could actually figure out a solution for transgender athletes who just want to compete. And I'm all for it. Everybody should be allowed to compete. But maybe the simple answer is there's another category for trans people. And I'll give a shout out to the conservatives. When the NHL had a trans league game, conservatives still attacked them. What are you talking about? They did a league where they said transgender individuals can compete against each other, and conservatives still got mad. Come on. You win. And they were like, well, males shouldn't compete against females. If they want to, let them do it. The issue is that females don't want to compete about males, and they're being forced to. So when the NHL makes a league for trans people, so there are trans men and trans women competing against each other, I'm all for it. That's the solution. Congratulations. Why were people on the right still coming out and making fun of them? Whatever, man. The runner, whose social media still shows photos from earlier races, while still a balding then married man, ended the mid-race chat to gush about how her beautiful son is expecting a baby. So I'm going to be a Granny G, Frank said before running off, draped in a blue, pink, and white transgender flag. So here's Yamauchi. Frank said she was shocked at the blowback, given that she was not an elite runner competing for prize money or a place on the podium. Instead, she's raised the equivalent of $37,000 for charity in the races. I did the race in 4 hours, 11 minutes. There's lots of women that beat me. She noted the more than 6,150 ahead of her in the category. Still, from now on, Frank said she's going to enter under the other or male just to keep everybody happy. And I'll still do it in 4 hours, and I won't steal anybody's money, she quipped. So I just think, beating out 14,000 women as a 54-year-old male is like kind of insulting to these females, but I think it actually just proves why we have female sporting leagues. I like to make this point. We do not have female sporting leagues because sometimes people wear dresses. Okay. We do because males and females have different biology. Males have more bone density, more muscle mass, more fast twitch muscles. They can jump higher, run faster, have a higher center of gravity. And the weirdest thing to me is when people try to use any of that in the inverse to justify having males compete against women. Notably in skateboarding. I'm hearing people, even like people in the disaffected liberal camp, being like, males have a higher center of gravity, so they're at a disadvantage in skateboarding. And it's just like, dude, you clearly have no idea what makes skateboarders good. And in fact, a higher center of gravity is a major advantage in skateboarding. But you know what, Nir? I'm not going to sit here and argue the science to people who don't care about science. The fact is, it is a simple political question. Did women consent to having males in their leagues? The answer is no. But you know what? I'll just put it this way. We have an interesting question over gender roles because of this conflict. If women are unwilling to stand up for their sport because they tend to be more agreeable or just because they don't want to, then they deserve exactly what happens. But the argument that becomes men are supposed to stand up for women to protect them. Well, we're in a new day and age, ladies and gentlemen. Women can choose for themselves what they want to do. And if women don't want to defend themselves or they want to allow males to compete against them, then they deserve to lose. They deserve it. That is not a statement of anger or resentment, or it is not intended to be malicious. It is a fact statement. Women who want to compete against males deserve to lose. In the long run, they will. I have seen young female skateboarders put out statements with like, it's totally fine that I lost to a guy. Like, that fine. I got no beef. That's on you. If I'm going to compete, I'll compete against whoever I want. I'm probably going to win. And that's the craziest thing. I just got to tell you, look, I'll say it. I'll come out and say it. I'm a 37-year-old skateboarder. I'm an old man. The best I've ever placed in a contest, I think, was like 13th or 7th, depending on the contest, because there's like qualifiers where like I didn't make the cut. And I could do a bunch of tricks. There's one contest where I did I drop in, I do a 360 flip up a Euro gap. Then I did a nollie hard flip on the bank, turned around, did a ollie over a ramp to flat. It was like a decent run. I did a kick flip, late heel flip, revert on a ramp. I did a nollie hard flip, a late flip, a bunch of really good tricks. I got to tell you, I am fairly confident that if I were to enter a skateboarding contest as a hobbyist 37-year-old skateboarder, I would win against some of the top females in the world. It's crazy to say. And I'm sure there's a lot of people who are like, I don't believe that, dude. I don't know what could I probably do? Nollie crook down the hubba, maybe like nollie flip nose slide, do a switch tray flip over a certain gap. It's just crazy for me to think that I watch female skateboarder contests. And I'm just like, there's no question. I've never been a top male skateboarding athlete. I can do a bunch of really good tricks. I'm decently good. Never enough to be a pro. But if I were to compete in the women's division, I'd be like top 10 instantly overnight, probably number 1. And again, there's probably a lot of people being like, yeah, blah, 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 Tim, you couldn't. Dude, I'm just watch the skateboarding stuff. Just go watch it. There's no question. It's just, I feel bad saying it, but dude, if I did a nollie flip nose slide, nollie flip out, that's probably going to be the best trick in the entire contest for top women. There are some good women who can do some really amazing tricks, and they're getting better and better every day. And I'm getting older and worse. No joke. But it's just an issue of, males have a physical advantage in sports. That's just it. Do I lose in games of skate to women? Yeah, of course. Are there contests where women would probably beat me? Yeah, absolutely. But if I spent 1 month doing basic training for skateboarding, I'd probably be number 1. And I got to tell you, man, so many other guys better and worse than me would be as well. So be angry about it, whatever. It's true. If that's the world we're going to go into, don't be surprised when that's what happens. When foreign countries decide if they can have males on their women's team, they're going to do it because they can win money and prestige. But hey, man, look, it's not up to me. I'm not the one who's losing my sports division. And if women aren't going to speak up, then all right, they have agency. They can vote for themselves. So we'll see how it plays out. Congratulations to this trans runner. Next segment's coming up at 6 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.